Dun 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 dun.
Dude, when I don't know how dumb this question is, but I think I need to ask out of ignorance.
Ask.
For the topic. Bitcoin once had ATMs.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, they did at some point. Okay, cool. Then you're the wrong person to ask as well.
No, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, like, you could convert your virtual coins to real money to withdraw by the ATM, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why are people laughing at this? Because there's actually a post where somebody
But was
says...
it a Bitcoin ATM or was it a third party like Yellow Card does?
No, check this out. It says, if you ever feel stupid, remember that some thieves tried to steal a Bitcoin ATM to get the coins out. They were expecting coins. What's the joke here?
You don't get the joke.
Yeah, they're virtual coins, but they stole the ATM because it
There
has
were
money,
coins in
right?
there, yes.
That's what I'm asking. Does it have money? It's an ATM. You're going there to withdraw.
So it has
converting
money.
from your virtual,
So it has money, yes.
but paper money.
Yes.
So, but these guys were hoping to get what? Coins from it.
No, they were hoping to get the money that is in the ATM.
So it was a good move.
Yes, it was.
So why are people calling them dumb?
Because those thieves thought there was coins in there. But the coins knew there was actual money in there.
Wait, hold on. Let me read the caption here. Once my friend found 10 Bitcoins on the floor, I guess thieves dropped that.
See, now that's dumb.
Now that's dumb. Yeah. Because I was trying to get it like, I mean, if they're trying to see the ATM, then they're onto something. You know what I mean? There must have been money.
Yeah.
Anywho, welcome to another great episode of That's It Podcast.
Hey, tada! Sorry, I'm just compiling.
Coming a
talking
day
points.
late because we failed to go live yesterday. If you have a network
Yes, we did.
that is best suited for the operations that we're trying to run here, go live on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube at the same damn time. It's not working. Whatever you're using is not working. Gob, what are you using now? We're not even going live anymore.
What were we using before?
What were we using before? Are we able to mention names? We actually have a guy representing one of the major networks in the country. He's here with us in the studio, and his network failed us terribly. If we may add.
The one from Zimbabwe.
Do the math. Do the math.
Listen, as we...
Drive must, you worked so hard to put that network together, and it failed us today.
Imagine. Quick fact.
Yeah.
Do you know that if you Google Britain's first black billionaire,
Strife comes up?
it's Strive?
Oh, yeah. I was reading the article the other day. I think he wrote the article about how he ended up on that list or something. Speaking of another list, I don't know if you saw the one that, what's his name again? Mouse Sampa put up.
What list?
I'll come back to Elias in a bit. The one, I think it's like Zambia's top 11 millionaires.
By Miles?
Yeah.
And how does he know this?
He said, I think it came from the internet or something. Hold on, let me check this out. Should have been like a few days. There it is. Good. Just open and it's a thing at the top. So he says about real and genuine and fake pseudo-rich or wealthy Zambians. Are you thinking, as I am, on the attached list of richest Zambians of 2025 by UGC online publication? And also, do you have as many mafunsos as I do? As questions.
Questions, yeah.
Yes. Online AI defines a rich man as a person who possesses a substantial amount of money, valuable assets, and the keyword here is valuable. So assets held must be able to be valued by professional evaluators of assets or liabilities of a person or a company. My mafunsos. 1. Why did the researcher not indicate sources of wealth or lines of business and authentic accountants' valuations? If HH is the richest Zambian and on number 1 slot, that assertion is based on which financial reports or declarations, given that even himself has refused to file before the High Court his assets and liability statements as required by law for every sitting president. I think let me run through the top 11 richest people according to this assessment. At number 11, Sparks Mining. Is it? What's the surname? Sparks
Mining.
Malinga. Yes.
Mr. Mining?
That would be so dope if that was his surname, eh? Number 10, Mark O'Donnell. Mark O'Donnell is which one? Zambeef. Wait, let me...
Almost
just check that for
Donald
me.
had a family.
Mark O'Donnell should be Zambeef, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, please check that for me. Number 9, Sato and Sin at $90 million. Number 8, Charles Milupi at $210 million.
Do you know these people so far?
Yeah, I know all of them. Number 7, Geoffrey Mwamba, who's currently
that?
incarcerated, GBM, at 200.
He's sick, isn't he?
Yeah, very quite. Is he?
Yes.
He's still quite sick. Yeah.
What is it? What's he suffering from?
It's not known. All right, but he comes in at 218 million kwacha. Hanson Sindoe. Hanson Sindoe is CEC, right? Yeah. Robin Miller. Robin Miller's which one now?
Who that? Which one is this one?
Robin Miller. No. Okay, let's wait. Mark O'Donnell should be Zambi, if I'm not mistaken. Not that I follow. You know, it's coming up.
Everybody's on their phones.
American writer and humorist.
Can you guys do quick Google searches? What's the lovely lady's name? Oh, Patience. You wanna be our fact checker? Okay. So who did you wanna know? So you can go on the list.
Mark O'Donnell. From what I found in Nkwazi magazine, it just says the man who built Lusaka. Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Keep going on the list.
I think we need to come back to Mark
So far, I
O'Donnell.
only know 2 people there.
Where was I? Dr. Rajan Matani. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Matani,
At,
I agree.
$304 million dollars. Sorry,
I think it's more than that.
it could even be more because
Because the money that is owed from the sale of Finance Bank alone.
And I saw a notice for the sale of Finance Bank Malawi. You saw that?
That Sox is going to go and live
Yeah. I saw that. Carl Irwin. Who the hell is Carl Irwin now? Every strange name when I was saying Zambi. Noble Findlay, 310 million US dollars. And at number 1, yours truly, the President of the Republic of Zambia, the land of work and joy and unity. Haka in the Hichilema, 340 million kwacha. Now, I'm wondering on this list, where is Clever Mpoha?
No, not only that. There are names that are not on this list. This list is fake. Where is Shadrach?
Donovan Gray.
Where is Shadrach Kasanda? Where is Simon Mwila? What's the lawyer?
Simon Mlengamwila.
The one with the only C350 in Zambia.
Where's Brian Chanda?
This is a list. This is a fake list.
Yeah, where's your maps?
Where's your maps?
Where's Magnate?
Where's Magnate?
How do you come up with such a list and not include our boys?
How?
Why? When?
Make
What?
this make sense. You're giving us Findlay, Shani. When we
Mark O'Donnell. No, but on the reels though, I remember last I checked, there's actually a YouTube channel, somebody who says they dug deep to find out the richest people in this country. Clever Mpoha was actually topping that list.
Who's Clever Mpoha?
Clever Mpoha's Savenda.
Savenda.
Yeah.
That's UBA.
UBZ.
UBZ.
Yeah. So where are all these people on this list? Which is why I think Mao Sampa is asking all these questions. So that's one of the questions that he asked. If people don't disclose their wealth in Zambia, where is this coming from? And remember, this list came from UGC online publication. And
you know what's crazy? The richest person on that list has got 300 million, right?
Another interesting question. Yes. Where is Diego Casili on this list?
Wait, hold on. The richest person on that list has got $350 million.
Yeah, they're saying the president has.
This is close to how much Elon Musk gave Trump for his election.
Like, just from his pocket, go.
Like, just Trump change.
Just go campaign.
No, just go and buy gum.
Plus withdraw fee, that's 840 million kwacha, you know what I mean? Yeah, so Miles is asking, where is Mr. Diego Castillo on the list? Whom I think should be number 1, given his investments. Talk about East Park Mall, I think Lewanika Mall as well, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. Real estate that he owns all over Lusaka is worth quite a bit. I can guess that all his assets also have professional valuation as at 2025. For the record, then he goes on to say, for the record, he owns East Park Mall, the Wanika Mall, Arcades. Remember Arcades? He's born of Arcades, Acacia Park, Ndola Mall, Livingston Mall, various 200 residential houses and flats, over 20 tourism lodges in various provinces. Okay, he goes on and on and on. Like Musk in the USA, who pimp... pumped on a lot of money to make Trump the president. Diego also pumped a lot of money to make HH become president. On this podcast, we shall say allegedly. But I'm just quoting what Mao Sampa wrote. Third question, where is the owner of Trade Kings, Mr. Mohammed? Where is the name of the list of another genuinely hardworking son of the soil, Mr. James Ndambo? Ndambo.
Yes. A fellow short guy.
A fellow short guy.
Of course he's a
Yeah, it's Zambian living in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other question.
So arguably, he's the richest person who actually have in my phone. Wait, I want to call Sparks and see what Sparks thinks about this. Sparks must be like, nigga, ever since you got my number, you're abusing this shit.
Go, I wasn't recording audio from this side.
It was coming in.
It was? So you're recording audio from that side? Okay, cool.
Let's see if Sparks picks up.
Is it the richest person on your phone?
No, it's
Ndambo
James,
is.
it's Ndambo. I'll try and call James after this.
Miles has got too much time on his hands. Yeah.
Okay, so Sparks is not picking up.
Yeah, he doesn't answer poor people's numbers. Where is Agrofuel Sashi Pateri, who I think should be number 2 from the millions of dollars he has minted from the fuel supply monopoly since August 2021? Where is Bokani Soko?
I'll tell you who the richest person that I have in my phone is.
It's not in Dambo anymore.
No, it's not. Someone just came after Ndambo.
And this person is not on this list. Elon Musk is rich?
Yeah. Do you know that before
Elon Musk is rich. Serious.
Do you know that Elon grew up rich? He used
That I know, but I didn't think it's like to these values of 350 million.
He used to be dropped off in school
in a Rolls Royce. Yeah, that I know. He's rich. What?
Whoops. Man, what you talking about, Willis?
Well, okay, where would you place his net worth right now?
In dollars? I don't know, close to $1 billion.
I don't think so.
Could you please Google Elon
Musk.
Musk's net worth?
Errol.
Well, we can call him and find out.
That would be beautiful. Errol Musk. She's having a problem spelling Errol.
Should I call him on
ERROL. Musk is MUSK.
Musk.
I don't think he's that heavy, bro.
Yes, he is.
I don't think so.
Well, let's see.
I think he's a rich guy, yes, but not to those levels.
320 billion.
No. No.
You went to Elon, didn't you? You went to the sun.
Yeah.
Okay,
It says $15 million.
Where are you reading that?
This is from the Musk family Wikipedia.
The Musk family?
Yeah.
But you know that can be edited. Even you right now,
Yeah.
if you log into Wikipedia, you can write 1 billion.
I can edit his
Yeah.
his account.
Yeah.
No, okay. For AI says 16 million.
I'm sure they got that from Wikipedia.
Anywho,
Hey, listen.
bring
your phone. What's up? Where's my thing? Where's my chat?
You have one?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Huh?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your
digital hands
thoughts.
together. Listen to this.
Please
Give us a review.
Please give a review in the comments section right now.
Tell us what you think about this tune.
Thoughts on this song. What about that?
Elson and Kalenga, we going live.
I don't like the way this guy pronounces my name.
Because you gotta get away straight.
No cap, bringing heat every time. Yeah, you know that's facts. From the streets to the boardroom, we keep it real. Culture, business, and the vibes you feel. Biggest podcast in the 260. If you ain't tuned in, tell me what you here for. Lord, that's it. Podcast, we got the flow. Real convos, let the speakers blow. Laugh lessons, stories untold. Every Tuesday, man, let's go. So grab your seat, hit play, let's ride.
You're feeling it?
I don't like where you pronounce the name.
You know the name,
Get over it.
you know the drill.
One day.
Elson and Kalenga.
You got a ghetto ass name.
Got a very traditional African name.
You got a ghetto ass name. He says my name. Perfect.
It's an English name.
Yeah.
And I think it's a made up Zimbabwean
No, it's
English
not.
name.
No, it's not.
You know how
Pause-
people in
pause
Eastern
that.
Province.
Pause that.
You know how people in Eastern Province have made up names.
I got a call. Listen to how crazy this is.
Yeah.
If you post that.
Yeah. It's,
I got a
think-
call from this lady, and she said I was watching the episode that we did with Sunny Zulu,
yeah.
and she said she dreamt about me.
Ooh. Okay. Sangoma.
No,
Okay.
she's actually a lawyer.
Could be a Sangoma.
So
too.
she called her brother, who called 2, 3, 4 other people, and eventually got my phone number.
Right.
And she said I didn't need to make this call, but the dream came to me twice. And that you apparently have a voice that you're not using. That God wants to use you and you have a voice that you're not using.
Okay.
So she spoke to me for almost 45 minutes. And says, I don't do this. I'm not overly religious. I'm actually a lawyer.
Go do the math. She saw the Sunny Zulu episode. Sunny is a pastor, and this word comes to her for Elson. It means, I think what I'm thinking.
What, that she's supposed to be my wife?
No.
What?
I think it's supposed to be a pastor, bro. Can you imagine the number of testimonies this guy can have in church?
Listen.
Yeah, that's working. Can you imagine the number of testimonies Elson would have in church?
Bruh.
I used to be this. I used to be that.
Don't I look like a pastor though already?
With that shirt, yeah, you do.
I do, right? All that's missing is like the white collar?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I act like one as well, sir.
A what?
I act like one too.
A pastor.
Yeah.
Sorry, in what sense?
What do you mean? In what sense?
Yeah, in which movie?
What are you guys talking about? I don't know what you guys think you know about me.
Sorry, when you say act like,
Yeah.
meaning
I convert people's lives to bring them to Christ.
the other side.
What other side? Christ.
Anyway, explain.
So yeah, man, that to me, I don't know.
I thought you were going to tell us what she said in the 45 minutes.
No, well, a lot of it is private, but it creeped me out because she said to me, she dreamt about me twice, and the first time she ignored it, and then it came to her again. So we spoke for 45 minutes, and she said, I feel that you have a voice that you're not using, and God is trying to tell you how you need to.
Do you
tap into
ever have projects that you start working on and they just fail from nowhere?
Yeah.
You remind me of Saul from the Bible.
I remind you of Saul from the Bible.
Yeah. God has got very unique recruitment tactics.
How do I remind you of Saul?
God has got very unique recruitment tactics.
Yeah.
So in the book, the holy book, Saul,
It's called the Bible.
I'm going to that. What was Paul going? Tarsus, right? You think so? You look like a staunch Christian. I think it was going or coming from Tarsus. And remember, Saul was a guy who hated the Christians, the believers of God. He hated them so much he would...
How the hell do I remind you of that dude?
Listen. He was on a path to doing what he loved doing
I
best.
hope the story ends well.
It will. Persecuting the Christians, killing the Christians, hurting the Christians. Excuse me. God looked at him. Can you imagine why God picked Saul and not people who are already Christians to go and preach the word?
Because he's the worst. So if you could be converted, then
Well, that too, but then there's also the issue of, I think God loves people who are passionate about something. And he picks Paul, who was passionate about persecuting and killing Christians. And God said, I can use this passion in a different direction. You, when I look at you, you're passionate about computers, that you're deep in. You're passionate about podcasting. I think God picks up that in you and says, I would like to use this guy who I think has influenced so many people to go the wrong direction. He can now bring them to the right direction. You're an influential guy, I think.
excuse me.
Don't you think?
What wrong
So-
direction have I steered people into?
Let's not talk about that in front of people right now.
So, but I'll tell you this, and
So
I'm dead
God
ass.
strikes Paul, who was then Saul, with this bright light from heaven. Bah, knocks him off the horse, right?
Zesco.
Yeah, pretty much like Zesco. Knocks him off a horse. The
Nothing
guy
like
couldn't
Zesco.
sleep for how many days?
Nothing like that.
3 days?
Because the light wouldn't have come.
Load shedding. Knocks him off a horse. Guy couldn't see. He couldn't see, eat. I think all his senses went off for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my point is, God saw in him what he's seen in you. And Saul kept. You know what God has told you you're supposed to do? It's like Jonah as well. God has told you to do something and you keep
don't
going
wanna
that
do it.
direction.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's the same for you.
But now,
So until you answer that call, maybe you prosper even more in life when you answer God's call.
I don't know what that is, though.
She told you what to do.
She didn't tell me shit.
So the 45 minutes, what was that?
How I need to harness my power into what God wants, but I don't know what that is.
Okay, that wasn't a very useful call then.
Because she didn't know either.
What do you think it is?
I have no idea, to be honest.
I hate when that happens. Like you're trying to find your purpose in life and you don't know how to find that
I
purpose
do
in life.
not know what that is.
I hate when that happens.
I think you've gotten so many calls from even my workmates asking for your number just to talk to you. So
Yeah,
you're one of those. Just to have
Also,
a chat.
you know that your workmates have been calling me.
I know. Yeah, so I'm saying.
But you know what? I think that is the devil sending them. Because, no, for real, because I get some of the most unsolicited
I know.
crazy calls.
What are most of the calls about?
Business, obviously, but of course they're gonna come through other means.
Oh, guys, if you could do
talk
the
about
math here,
something else.
what would you think Elson's purpose in life is in connection with the call that he received from this lady?
Part of me thought mental health. But again, I'm still trying to really grapple. And it might not be people in this room that might know, but it could be somebody watching. Because when that woman then called her brother, she didn't even know what my name was. She didn't know either of us. She watched it because of Sunny. So she began to describe us to the brother. So she described you and said not him, but then the other one. And they battled to get my name, and then they called 2-3 other people. Then eventually they got my name. So after they had my name, it was now about getting my phone number. And so for her to have gone through that trouble, yeah, man.
I've sold your number before.
You've sold my number before.
You know, there was a time I think you're talking about what university is that? The one in Kabulonga? They opened something. And then you mentioned, you know, that one has blah, blah, blah. And then someone was like, please, I need this guy's number. I'm like, give me 100. And they flashed it up.
And they gave me 100?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm happy. I'm happy you pimped me out. Did you get the talking points?
No.
Let me send this to you.
I'm still trying to figure out what.
But that
Elson's-
was very sobering.
Wait, on the Sunny Zulu episode, you mentioned somebody saw something in you in Zimbabwe. What was that?
Snap.
So maybe
And
she picked up
let me tell
from
you,
that to
one
mention.
of the things,
Yeah.
and hand on the Bible, he told me 2 things that he said he saw in me. The first thing, and again, remember he said, like, when I tell you the devil is listening, so you've got a lesser chance of getting it. The first thing is he says, I see you standing on a stage. You are in an auditorium or you're in a hall, and there are people that are lining up to get into that hall to listen to you speak. So you are saying something and people are holding tickets, and I could see people collecting tickets and they're walking in to hear you speak.
I think this guy was meant to be something that he really hates. A motivation speaker.
No, I don't think so. No. So when she told me that, I then figured,
You're
is
just
there
so.
a correlation
Yeah.
in what that
Saul
guy
did
saw?
not like Christians. Elson does not like motivation speakers. And I think that's what you
I hate
you're born-
motivational speakers, Shem.
He's a soul.
I think they are
Modern
the
day
biggest
soul.
scammers.
Maybe that's what you're meant to be.
No,
Wait, why don't you like motivation speakers again?
because I feel like they're full of bullshit.
How are they full of bullshit?
Because they have figured out how to make money from people by basically telling them what they want to
But
know.
Elson, as with everyone going on a stage,
Yeah. It would depends what you're talking
every
about.
religion has got the true prophets and the fake
And the fake
prophets.
ones. Yeah.
Even motivation speakers. There are those who
Like who?
can motivate a person
Like
to,
who?
like Les Brown motivated me.
Again, see, Kalenga, so this is what my problem is with you. Excuse me. You got 3 beautiful daughters and the son.
And,
I've said-
I know where you're heading with
And
this.
I've said this over and over again. and I know you know where I'm heading with this because I've said this to you, right?
You look at your children and that should motivate you.
But for the benefit of those people that are hearing me say this for the first time, the people that you left in your house this morning,
That should motivate you.
those are motivation enough.
Elson.
The thought
Listen.
of you possibly moving back into your mother's
No,
house.
Elson, you're looking at this the wrong way.
Well, tell me what way I should look at it for.
You're looking at this the wrong way. Yes, I've got kids that I will look at, and that should motivate me to start working harder, right?
Yeah.
Even at my lowest point, I had 2 kids already.
Yeah.
I've shared this story, I think, like 10, 50 times on the podcast now. For those watching for the first time, I reached a low point in life where
You moved in with your
I
mom.
was totally broke, moved my family back to my mom's house, right? Yes, there was that motivating me. I need to give my kids a better life than what they're going through right now. But I would listen to people like Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Tony Robbins sometimes. When you hear stories from people who've gone through what you're going through, it motivates you to work even harder. Yes, I'll look at my kids. But when I hear how these guys went through that and got out of it, their mindsets, the things that they did, you start applying some of those things. Some of those things start applying.
I hear you. I totally understand. I'm looking at this from the perspective of a kid who grew up herding cattle in the village, who did not have access to a TV or a radio.
Right.
They drew their motivation from other things. They saw a vehicle, they saw a house. They realized that if
There's
I
a better
don't
life.
work twice as hard, I know the poverty that is waiting for me back at home. I have never been the kind of person that listens to someone tell me about 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that then motivates me
you
to
see,
do
'cause
something.
The problem is you're looking at it like all they talk about is just start. You're talking about people who talk about I started with 1 feather and then now I've got 1,000,000 chickens that I'm herding on my, rearing on my
Tell me about
farm.
the motivation you're talking about.
Look, when you listen to people like, who can I give a good example of right now? Tony Robbins, for example.
The buff guy.
Yeah, the buff guy.
He's the biggest fraud. Him and Vusi the choir.
Listen, no. You really don't like Vusi. Listen, especially when listening to Tony Robbins, right? Tony he's a coach, not even a motivation speaker. He's tried correcting people for I don't know how many times. He's a life coach. When I listen to that guy, like I'll tell you, I think I've shared this with you. My first business was a radio station in Akonde, right? If I had not listened to that guy, a lot of things would not have been put in place the way they were.
Like what?
What can I remember from the top of my head right now? Managing money. Tony Robbins is very good with that, bro. If you follow
So
Tony
how did
Robbins,
you get broke?
sorry,
So how did you get broke?
I got out of my brokenness and into the radio station, if you remember the story correctly. So in the brokenness as well, I was in the Tony Robbins. When I got out of that, I was now able to open a radio station, employ people, and I started another business because of lessons I learned from Tony Robbins. I can't remember everything off the top of my head right now, but read books like Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Brilliant book. If you read that book and you can't manage your money after that, you're just a hard nut to crack. Awaken the Giant Within.
So how do you manage your money? What did the book say? How
There's a bank account.
so how do you manage the money from the book?
Guys, it's a really thick book.
Yeah,
He
what did it-
teaches you how, like in my case, how to raise money. Okay, I learned that from that book. If I hadn't read that book, I don't know, I'd probably still be broke.
And how do they
this
say
day.
raise money?
There's ways you're going to talk to people in certain offices. I learned that from that book. We're not going to go into intricate details right now, but there's ways that you can.
I hear you.
Read the book, Money Master the Game by
I
Tony
don't
Robbins.
want to read the book because
You think it's a fraud. You can learn a lot from that
That's
guy.
precisely why I don't want to read that book.
Nah, it's not a
Or I
fraud.
don't want to listen to that dude.
I'll listen to Tony Robbins any day. I'll listen to Tony Robbins any day, Les Brown any day, Vusi Tembekwayo any day.
Oh my
Look,
God.
all of these guys, you can pick out something that you can learn from them. Not everything they speak is trash. Given, yes, there are some things that I listen to when Vusi is speaking. I'm like, okay, that's not very useful. And even in some speeches,
Do you know what I think
listen
about
to
Vusi?
one entitled
By who?
by Vusi Tembekwayo, Suits and Sneakers.
Yeah, I have to listen to it. He's got a podcast too.
Listen to that speech by Vusi Tembekwayo, Suits and Sneakers. You're going to pick out something good. Other things may be trash. But majority of the stuff you pick out from that speech, really good stuff. You were saying?
I feel Vusi makes his money from telling people how he made money.
And he doesn't quite have that money in
And
your
he
opinion,
doesn't quite have that money.
Ah, fam. You remind me of those people who, the Instagrammers who tell you, buy my program for $10. I'm going to teach you how to be a millionaire.
Right.
They're actually making money from your money.
From your money.
Yeah.
Listen, personally, I also don't believe in motivational speakers, but the point you said that your kids at home should motivate you to work hard. The thing is, I don't totally agree with that because working hard is a very, how can I say, it's not one word. What is really working hard? You see, because there are people who wake up early in the morning, go sell tomatoes out there from 6 to 7 hours. Are they really working hard or are they working smart? So I think kids at home are not enough for you to like really, really work hard.
Exactly my point.
It's a point of whereby when you listen to, for example, you are not a motivational speaker. For example, you guys, you have motivated people in so many ways to do a podcast, right? There are people who are in radio station, there are people who are in different categories. They have seen how you have climbed up the ladder and raised the bar like super high. So if somebody looks up to you, then they say, okay, if this person can do it, how can I really put myself in their shoes and work hard in that direction? So I think motivational speakers, they only give you direction. It's not necessarily what they say is true. So if you really can't fit in that shoe, then those guys will make
For
sense.
me, what motivation speakers do for me is the right ones, by the way, not just any motivation speaker. Yes, after a certain time, we had so many motivation speakers show up on the market. But what they do for me, the genuine ones, the ones I've actually got a lot of inspiration from, they show me what's possible in this life. Yes, when I look at my kids, my
does that
hustle
mean?
may end on just thinking
what does
about
that mean?
feeding my kids.
What does that mean?
What? They show me what's possible.
What does that mean?
Like the point Gob has brought up. When I look at my kids, my hustle may just end. I may create a ceiling of just wanting to buy them food, put food on the table, and clothe them. But when I listen to certain motivation speakers, it opens my mind up to think of other possibilities. I can get richer than just having money to feed my family. You know what I mean? That's what I get from Tony Robbins. If you read the book Awaken the Giant Within, he's actually, because the guy is super rich. And he describes so many businesses and how he started them. And they're very practical things that you can follow. And I love Tony Robbins for that, the practicality of his teachings.
I don't know. Look, I hear you, and to each his own.
To each his own. Right. Exactly. Whatever works for you, let it work for
Precisely.
you. That works for me and others. So let it work for me.
The end goal is to get rich.
At the end of the day.
However, we get there, it's different. We take different paths, right?
True.
So, look, that works for you. Kudos. For me, it's been a totally different ballgame. I guess because I'm looking at it from a different lens.
Yeah.
It's not lost on me that my childhood was not that
Hard?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, we know you grew up soft.
No, not that really. But you can only dream about what you can see around you.
Which is why... Okay, finish your point.
Yeah, so motivational speakers never really did that for me because my father and what he achieved was my bar. So if I could surpass that...
You're successful.
Basically, it's exposure.
Precisely.
So when you're exposed, you see what's possible out there.
Exactly. Which
but
is why I
now-
kept using the word. They make you see
Yeah.
what's possible.
No, I hear you. But
Yeah.
now, the only problem that I've had with motivational speakers is how generic their speeches were. And how... It's almost like a copy and paste.
That's my...
That's
When you listen to guys
Do you
like...
get what I mean,
when you
though?
listen to guys like... The original guys, the guys who started this business, the Earl Nightingales, the Jim Rohns... When you listen to guys like those, is when you get to see that most of the people nowadays are just copying and pasting what was already said in the
But this
50s
is a
by the
bit
two.
different, isn't it? Because Vusi says he does like, I don't know, formal research on you as like a research team, and then they like try to spin things within what you guys understand and stuff.
How can I describe
Now,
it?
you just want to raise my blood pressure if you keep talking about Fusi now.
For someone who doesn't like Vusi, you were pretty psyched when you were meeting DLN. The DLN guys?
When I was meeting who?
The DLN guys.
Dumisani.
I was psyched when I was meeting him.
Yeah, you were. Very happy and excited.
What
You
do
remember
you
that
mean?
episode?
I've been to his house. He's been to my house. Why would I be psyched seeing him in public?
I don't know. Not like on that podcast. Remember that episode?
Well, I think he was
Very
doing it
excited.
to get the viewers
see,
excited
This
as well.
listen, there are people who I know personally, and when they come on the podcast, my excitement is not about meeting them,
How
but
do you rate DLN?
but the audience.
How do you rate DLN?
How do I rate what?
Dumisani as a motivation
Oh,
speaker.
okay. Yeah, you could.
Is he a motivational speaker?
Yeah.
Really?
We actually hire him like for our stuff.
So what?
Concerts and
You guys pay me 100 pin.
Oh, we do hire
You
that
pay
guy.
him
for-
100,000?
for the men's conference and stuff.
Because I know
when
he
we-
charges like 100,000
Yes, he does.
per speech.
So you paid him 100,000 kwacha?
No, the company pays.
No, well, not you, obviously. But hey, listen, I've just noticed something. Do you see how this guy resembles Strive? A little. He kind of looks like Strive with the glasses.
round glasses, yeah. I think it comes with the company.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I've never heard. I've never heard him speak. When him and I are talking, it's about totally different
Also,
stuff.
you were there on the podcast. Did you see how many stories you told?
You say what?
Do you remember how many stories you told?
Were those motivational though?
You were there.
He was just telling his life story. And also, I guess Vusi is the wrong Vusi. Dumisan is the wrong person to bring to me because I run at the site to him.
Which is?
None of your business.
The moment you sit down of your business,
You say what?
the moment you
It
sit
got
down of your
excited.
business, people start assuming other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now tell
Yeah,
us.
well, they can.
No, but Dumisani is one of those, I think, for me, legit motivation speakers because he will tell you how he dug himself out of poverty to where he is today.
Precisely. But
So
then
now you're
again,
saying,
but then
yeah,
again,
you're sort of agreeing to me
No,
saying
no, no,
motivation
hold
speakers
on,
are good.
Hold on. Gentlemen, here's the thing. I want you to listen to me very carefully.
I shall say this only
Wait,
once.
there's a John Banda on Hot FM.
Yeah, what? Oh, John Banda motivation.
So listen to me, guys.
Yeah.
Do you know John Banda yourself?
Wait, let me finish my point. When these people tell these stories of how they dug themselves out of
Take it with a pinch of salt.
poverty, don't know. 50% of it is true. But they're not telling you the entire picture.
Of course, they're not going to tell you the exact formula. Sometimes there were crooks at some point.
That's precisely what I am saying. There were hands that were greased. There were tenders that were stolen. There was a lot of stuff. But obviously, to make the story then seem wholesome, you leave some stories out. Do you understand?
Yeah, true.
If you take that as a blueprint and you try to use that as a blueprint, guess what will happen?
Nothing.
Nothing. And then you sit back and you're like, but hold on.
No, but
I did exactly what this guy
I think
said
in my
he did.
assertion, I did mention saying you can pick out. Like I gave an example of Vusi as well. There's some things that you're going to listen to and you're like, that no. But this is practical knowledge I can actually work with.
Good. Now, you have got, there's a word that I want to use, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Discernment.
Well, yeah, we'll go with that. To be able to discern what is good and what is bad. Can you imagine of 1 million people that listen to that, how many people would actually be able to discern and filter what would be good, what would be bad? Because a lot of the people will take that as a blueprint and say, okay, so I'm going to literally write this down and begin to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And when that doesn't
The ones
work,
that scare me a lot when they hear that I dropped out of uni, I quit my last job with no money in my
and then
account.
they come to you and they say, I also
I was
dropped
like,
out of
I've
uni.
got one that already did that, bruh.
See?
I now feel guilty about that.
As you should. You inspired me to drop out of college.
I've got one. It's so sad. So there's a girl. What's her name again? I can't remember her name.
Don't say her name.
I can't even remember her name. She, I think, came to my either Instagram or Facebook inbox
They
telling
say
me,
you inspired me to drop out of college.
yeah. A year later, I check up on how things going. I'm still at home.
See?
Like, okay, so you know
Actually
why
checked up on her.
I quit my last job? I was very frustrated and
Who
I just,
said this?
No,
That
I was
was
telling
her.
her like why I quit my last job.
What was
And
your
I
last
explained
job? What job was that?
I was a radio station manager in Solwezi.
You didn't get fired?
No, I didn't get fired. I resigned.
Why?
I got tired. I got frustrated. I don't know. I think it also didn't help that I started seeing financials and you start thinking the company's making so much and I'm getting so, I'm getting so little from this. Okay,
the worst
but I
mistake.
resigned from my last job with no money in my account because I think I had a lot of faith in my talents. You know what I mean? I knew I could DJ, I could MC, I could organize road shows or whatever. I felt at that point, and I made it work for a certain amount of time till I realized I actually needed people were actually booking me because I was affiliated to a radio station. Then the booking stopped coming. The booking stopped coming at some point, and that's how I got totally broke. Yeah, but a year later, I opened a radio station thanks to Tony Robbins.
So,
No, but what's your view on John Banda? I'm still stuck there.
John Banda motivation. I don't want to talk about that. He's a friend now, so yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. Moving on, so much happening on social media this week. Elias, handcuffs and guns. Guys, was that really necessary? Go.
Let me try and call this kid.
Elias?
Yeah.
Did I tell you that I was actually called by the courts?
Exactly. So
Why?
Justify.
I was called to be a witness in the case.
What were you meant to witness?
Remember the one article that they released where there was Kiddist and Yomaps in the court, Elias and blah, blah, blah. I was called to the courts that day.
Why?
Because Elias, remember we had him on the podcast?
Who is we? This is not French.
Dude, here's courts, and next thing, who's we?
Ain't no we around
We.
here. This is French.
You cannot be specific.
So when Elias came on the podcast, he explained. Did he apologize when he came, Gob?
He did.
He did, yeah?
He did.
Yeah. So apparently the courts picked up a few things from the podcast episode, and I got a call. I think that's the day that was happening when Kiddist and them were in court. And like a few days before. Luckily, I was out of town.
My phone.
Some lady called me from the court, and she says, I'm a clerk from the court, and I can't remember the word she used, one of these legal terms, and she says, would like you in the court on this day to come and stand, what do you call it? Stand in the dock as a witness, something to that effect.
So what were
You know what I
supposed-
said? Can I text you Elson's number? And I texted her your number. She didn't call.
Hell no, she didn't call.
I'm very disappointed.
She knows who to call. Okay.
Yeah, so...
Well, so what were you supposed to witness?
I don't know. So I was like, so what would you like us to come and do in the courts? And she says, just to come and explain how he came on the podcast, the things
Well,
that
what's
he
the
said.
podcast? You would know how he came on
Exactly
the
what
podcast.
I said. I was like, but if you're calling me now, it means you know exactly what happened on the podcast.
Yeah,
so why don't you just replay the clip?
That's it.
Because even when that court
What
case
you
was
said,
starting,
what he said is on YouTube.
when that court case was starting, I was called. I don't know. I don't know. How you can, let me not include your maps in this
No,
anymore.
so from what I know from common law, they can't use a media file as total evidence because then they need, provided it was edited, right? Then they can't use the full thing. So probably if they were to go to the largest extent, they were going to ask for the unedited file.
No,
That's how, that they have to watch the whole thing because maybe he said something like
that
maybe
we
you
we
forced-
chopped,
then
that
can
we
they-
chopped
Yes.
down.
Well, can they call God then?
Yeah, they should because God was on editing that episode, so that's what they should have
Was
done.
what? Me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
It was live.
and that was the second
Yes.
time I was getting a call for that case.
And not only that, we've been getting, bruh, and speaking of trouble and calls, was it ACC who called about the Donovan Gray thing too? Because
Yeah,
I was going to call from Parliament, but I was in Mozambique.
Somebody called. I can't remember his name. Didn't save his number, but I think he made the claim that he was actually calling from ACC, allegedly.
So yeah, he wants.
So anyway, speaking of Elias,
he wants a part two.
Donovan Gray.
Yeah.
So speaking of Elias, seeing as we moved on from networks,
Gob, do you think we should do it,
No.
or are you scared?
No, I'm not scared. I think let the question be balanced. He said,
So do you know that man is actually sick?
sorry?
He's actually sick. Donovan.
He's sick.
There's a condition that he got during COVID, and his doctors gave him. I don't know if I'm now. No, it's okay. But he was given a few years to live
He got it within Zambia.
in America.
Yeah, but the thing is, he dropped some names, and then I think we need those names to come and
defend
say-
themselves, yeah?
Yeah, then we can bring them back.
Did you see one of those names? That person is actually. There's something that I read in the newspaper about them being investigated that they misappropriated almost 20 or 25 cars.
who
One of the names that Donovan mentioned.
misappropriated?
Yeah.
Ah,
Like either they did
I-
not hand over the cars or they sold the cars while they were in office or something like that, but there were over 20 vehicles. It was in the Daily something newspaper. You think you know what I'm talking about, right?
So if it was in the paper, why couldn't you mention the name if it's already out there?
No, I'm going to do that. Can we go to the talking points, please?
But dude, if it's already out there, you're not doing any disservice or
Yeah, Kalenga.
why? Because you're scared the public could be hearing it for the first time on the podcast.
He lives alone.
You saw the nigga who came to my door banging on my door?
Yeah.
For a girl.
So anyway, Elias says,
Swiftly along-
I've been
Elias still.
I've been down, not feeling too well.
Wait. Hold on. The funniest joke came from what's his name? Our photographer friend.
Chiller.
No, man. Better than Chiller.
Davis.
Davis. So in one of the clips, Elias says, "I'm not a criminal, I'm a Zambian youth." Then Davis says, "What do you mean you're a Zambian youth? So who do you think are in the jails? The Chinese? Zambian." That was funny. I was like, well, the jails are full of Zambians. You think you saying you're a Zambian will not make you go to jail?
Mr. President. No, but still, they used. I think such force should be used on someone who is trying to run away.
Such what? That I didn't get.
The gun,
That I didn't
grabbing
understand.
him.
That I didn't understand.
It didn't look like he was resisting. To
No,
me,
it
you know?
didn't. No, it
Yeah.
didn't. Because number one, why not just call this guy and say, "Hey, bro, come to the police station"? Because the one that picked him up from court, right?
Yeah.
And in what car?
What car was it?
It was like a rundown small Corolla. You know those old ones?
But what was with the gun though? Gob, do you wanna comment on this?
If people
Was that
did
necessary?
some form
Was that
of
for
mob
Elias
justice.
or was that for people around? Because I noticed when they were trying
No.
to arrest Elias, people were preventing Elias from being arrested. Did you notice that? Did you see that clip? They were like standing in the way, saying, "Why are you arresting him?" So was the gun for Elias or the people that were preventing the arrest?
Okay, so
Is it
basically,
Elias or Elias?
Elias.
Yeah.
So I think okay, so basically I need to watch okay. Okay, the procedure is that you're supposed to go with fully with a police officer who is in full uniform. That's one thing, and that police officer is supposed to carry a gun. All right. The reason why is you want to be in and out in the shortest possible time so that you avoid back and forth, because some situations really get out of hand to a point whereby when the two of you, they might overpower you and get your gun and everything. So you need to literally go there with strong appearance.
But why pull the gun out?
Strong
For
appearance.
somebody who wasn't resisting.
Strong appearance.
Strong appearance?
But against what? He didn't resist.
Strong appearance.
Strong appearance. They just need to give the impression
Elson,
that
if a young kid come and say, "Hey, let's go together," you're gonna say, man, I ain't got time for this. But if somebody comes with the gun and say, "Elson, let's go,"
I honestly feel that is the last resort. If you have tried if you've tried different means to get this guy to report to the police station and he doesn't.
But also there was an issue of, remember, somehow he became famous, right? It's like someone comes to pick Kalenga, assuming he
Look,
was...
why can't you
know.
mention Elson?
Because
Well, assuming-
between the two of us, you're the one that's most likely to get arrested.
I don't think so.
I do.
Well, yeah, there's like people, there's like, social media fans. That's an assumption that they use, right? So they just can't pick you up because they're assuming there'll be a lot of people trying to hear that court case, and they'll be outside trying to defend you and trying to grab you from the police.
So
they needed that.
give him a call out.
Yeah, so but what I was more concerned with was the car.
The Corolla.
No, like you saw the car, right? Like it didn't fit an arrest, to be honest. It was like a taxi or something.
Maybe it was a young girl.
They were better off came up in a Land Cruiser, the blue Land Cruiser.
No, I think they booked a young girl to go and pick him up.
He wrote of this himself. I feel like I handled this very maturely, looking at the tense situation. If I lost my temper, I could have been easily charged with assaulting an officer or resisting arrest, but I remained composed. I had
He's
just
got
come out
dimples.
from
What
a
temper?
stressful court session with my family, then got ambushed by plainclothes cops. Didn't know what exactly was going on. Bear in mind, this happened to me before as well at Pamosi Hotel in the presence of my mother. So she still has those memories and trauma, hence her emotions. This wasn't necessary. The cops would have just sent me a call out. I am of fixed abode. I can't run away, and I have respect for law enforcers. Handcuffing me and pulling out a gun wasn't necessary. I called out to the president because he is commander-in-chief. And it's not a secret I voted for him because, among other things, he promised to end police heavy-handedness, brutality, or harassment, which he once faced before. Like I said, I'm just a youth. I'm not a politician or anything, and I have no capacity to fight the state. That's why I called out to the current president.
So youths don't commit
Hey,
crimes?
but message to Elias, if you feel like you're handled nicely, the court is open for everybody. You can literally go and chew those cops.
By the way, when they say
Police
your vote-
complaints thing. What do you call it?
No, you can literally go and file
Just
in-
straight to the court.
straight to the court. You can literally go and file in a complaint about misconduct of the officers. Simple as that.
there's an actual commission against the police, right?
Yeah, police complaints something.
That's,
What do they
that's
call
a
it?
long road.
That's a long route.
Yes, just go to the court. There will be someone, and then they'll be able to respond, defend why they acted like that.
But how transparent are these processes?
Oh, the courts and the police, those are two different companies, and they don't like each other. So,
Oh, serious?
Oh, for real?
I thought
You
maybe
got
the
it
courts
from the
love the
cop.
cops who bring these criminals to the courts. You know what I mean?
Can't forget it's a cop, yeah.
so there's some incidents which happen. For example, right, the court will say the police didn't write a nice report, so this is dismissed. The moment that person is dismissed, the police will be outside there to arrest that person, put him back in prison, change the facts, and take him back to court.
Jesus.
So me, when I saw the video, I thought the case had been dismissed in that manner. So they're trying to get
No, this was a separate case.
but yeah, it was a separate case.
Wait, what was the case he was fished out for again?
So apparently, allegedly, he paid some blog to write something about kiddies or something, I don't know, and some minister. So which was separate to the ongoing case. But then again, what's interesting is, did they arrest him before his hearing or after?
After.
Just as he was walking out of
Yes,
one
they-
hearing,
They couldn't arrest him before.
out of the frying pan
Well,
into
but
the
if they
fire.
wanted to be assholes, they could have, and then he doesn't show up to this.
There'll be a lot of paperwork because now the police officer have to
have to explain to the courts why he...
why he was behind the cells, and then
Bruh, you asked us to arrest him, we arrested him. don't care if-
right before the court
We
case.
don't care if we caught him at Hungry Lion taking a shit. You wanted us to arrest him, we arrested him. You didn't tell us what time to arrest him.
Give us some clear instructions next time.
Yes. Tell us to wait.
With his outcry, though, I don't know much about how elections run and stuff. So tell me one thing. When they say your vote is a secret, are you at liberty to disclose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you cannot
'Cause-
do, though, is you cannot get into a booth and take a photo of your ballot paper. That you can't do. But you can easily say that I voted for a giraffe.
Because it was, you saw, like, you heard his outcry, right?
No,
Yeah,
but-
I voted for the...
But then again, that also could be him trying to get sympathy from the president that, oh, he voted for me, I'm a youth, and the youths obviously are close to the president. So that could be virtue signaling. I'm not saying he's lying, but I'm saying when you are in that scenario, you obviously are going to try and virtue signal and say, I voted for you and I'm being treated unfairly. So why don't you step in? And I think the president was in car with him.
You're assuming you
But
watched it.
for me, dude, help me understand one thing. So he was arrested because of another social media scandal.
Yes.
This guy just doesn't learn, eh?
No, listen, and this is why I always say, people, I always say, don't laugh, learn. There are so many people that go on social media and say all kinds of hogwash. We saw what happened in South Africa on the other podcast too. When Drizzle pulled up.
Oh, fam.
When Drizzle pulled up.
Yeah.
That happened to me before.
No, let's not even talk about that.
You
It's
were there.
happened. It's happened to you before, yes.
Yes, you were there.
Yeah. Gob was there too.
No, God
Yeah.
wasn't there.
which one?
Gob wasn't there. No, Gob was there.
No, we hadn't even met Gob then. It was at the Iris's DSTV launch.
Who showed up? Oh,
Kandeke.
Oh, Kandeke.
You remember?
Oh, fam. Podcasts go through the most. Ah, fam. Kandeke showed up. Oh, gosh.
Which one were you
That was an
referring
urban hotel. Urban thing.
Yes,
The
yes,
urban
yes.
hotel, yeah.
Which one were you referring to?
Mutale.
Oh, no, but that was different though.
Well. Can we show people that clip?
No. Moving right
we
along.
had to edit that clip. Scandal after scandal. This podcast behind the scenes. But Kandeki, what happened though?
So he came to me, because remember, I'd never met him. Because remember when he was looking.
Oh, yeah.
So he came to me, and then he whispered something in my ear, but I couldn't hear what he was saying because he spoke Vernac. So the music was loud. Then I said, huh? So then he said what he said again, but then I didn't understand what he said. Then I said, what do you mean? So he was like, oh, so you speak about us when you don't even know what we look like. So then I came to you and I'm like, who is that? When you say that's kind of big, I'm like, oh, no, that makes sense.
Gosh.
But I don't know. To this day, I don't know what he said because he spoke in Vernac.
Probably insulted you a lot and you didn't pick it up.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Um,
Moving on.
Okay, so these talking points that we have came from our patrons in the patrons group. The first one, people want us to speak about the rise of defilement cases.
Oh yeah, what's that about, man?
Are they really on the
No,
up,
not-
or
not-
are they just being talked about? more?
No, guys, it's not on the rise right now. Remember in the early 2000s, we asked the same question: what's really going on? We even started high school debates about the same issue. Defilement has been there for the longest time, but the question is,
Why?
how can we curb this issue?
And I've been seeing people say, like, put up this post saying stop defilement or whatever it is. Yes, we need to do something about it. And I want us to have a serious conversation, everybody in the room. The people that do this, would they really be deterred by seeing a Facebook post that says stop defilement?
We need to go back to the roots of the problem. Why are they doing these things?
I honestly feel, in my very limited capacity, that this is a psychological. It's two things, in my opinion. It's something psychological. It probably happened to them when they were kids, and it's now a cycle. Or it's a power play, because rape, in most cases, has got very little to do with sex. It's about power and dominance, which goes back to just something psychological.
So annoying, man. And then there's the the guys who are spiritual.
Yes, and
Spiritual
apparently
issue.
one guy who was having sex with his daughter, apparently he had cancer, and he was told that if you have sex with your daughter, it will cure you of your cancer.
I've heard this before, where people do these things in the hope of one thing or the other, curing diseases.
That if you have sex with a virgin,
Virgin.
yeah, or not him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You get cured of diseases.
Also, others do it because some witch doctor told them they would get rich. But then again, remember, kids, rituals. A lot of times they like kids. Bring me the eyes of a kid. Bring me the vagina of a little girl. It's the purity of the spirit that they're actually going for.
But then you're not seeing the mutilation of kids. You're seeing the rape of kids.
Yeah, defilement and all that. So apparently, from what I've heard, it's the pure spirit that they're actually going after. Like you said, raping the kids because of curing cancers or whatever, because a witch doctor told them to do so. Apparently, it's because of the purity of those kids that they're told to target kids and not women.
You know why I would believe that? If we did not have such cases in America, where rich people like Jeffrey Epstein, who's already a billionaire, is raping
12, 13-year-olds.
and 10-year-olds. And even the prince was named as one of the people too, Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
You don't get richer than the royal family, right? So again, I think it's still
Power
really
play. In those cases, it's really much about,
Yeah.
about the
Goes down-
power and abuse
yeah.
of power, because they
Right.
feel, I mean, I'll do this. Who's going to arrest me? Who's going to bring this up? They're in positions of power, the Epsteins and them. It's so annoying when I read those
Let me
cases,
ask-
man.
let me
Especially being a man who has daughters. Those stories are so annoying, because I read that and I look at my kids and I'm thinking, somebody should touch these kids. They'll be there, end up in prison, I swear.
let me ask you a question. A person rapes a child and is put into prison, say for example for 15 years, right? And you come out, let's say you are in your 40s. Are you cured of this sickness of wanting to have sex with children after 15 years in prison? I'll go around the room. What do you think?
I think, like we said, those guys already damaged in one way or the other. All that 15 years did was just put them on a break.
Bingo. I think after that, they now know how to hide it better.
That's it.
I don't think they'll stop. I don't think prison will make them stop.
They're just taking a break.
They're taking a break. In fact, there's more sex in prison.
I'm about to give some advice, which also has some wrong elements in it. But guys, those of you who think of or actually defile young girls, it's terrible advice, but it's advice nonetheless.
I think I know what you're about to say.
There are people you can pay for these things. Because I think for others, it's a lack of confidence to approach maybe women their age.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
What do you think I was going to say? What do you think I was going to say? No, but guys, on
I thought you were going to say kill yourselves first.
I don't know what advice to give to such people, eh?
You want to advise people that are raping children.
Defilers.
And you want
What advice would you give to such? Like somebody
Okay,
watching right
so
now
what you are
and is
saying-
actually a defiler
So-
who has not yet been caught.
No, I'll give them an advice just now. So what you have said is the people you can pay for this. Are these people underage that you can pay?
No.
Because their urge is to have sex
With underage
with
girls.
underage girls.
No, but I'm thinking for some, in some cases, it's a lack of confidence to talk to girls their age. So they go to somebody who's vulnerable and they can control.
Those are called
So, like-
incels. Those are called incels. But then, again, yes, there is a certain demographic of people that are like that lack confidence, like Virgin.
Virgin has confidence. Oh, we haven't even taken him on his date yet.
No, we haven't. We are really letting him down. But anyway, we digress. So I feel that, yes, to an extent, you are right. There's a certain demographic of people that are like that lack confidence to walk up to a girl. And so they'll take advantage of somebody who is powerless.
They can control, yeah.
Yes. There's also that bracket of people who have been raped themselves as kids, like R. Kelly, and they're perpetuating the
act.
the hurt.
Yeah.
And there's also the people that is a power play. They want to feel powerful in the moment. Because there's no way you are telling me that you would see a 2-year-old and you'd get turned on. Because there's 2-year-olds that are being raped. 4
months old baby.
You are literally removing the diaper. I do not think any amount of jail term can cure someone like that. I honestly feel the government needs to invest in therapy. Yes, let them be locked up in an asylum. I'm not saying they should be home, but I honestly feel that this is something which is psychological and that needs to be treated as such. I honestly don't feel jail is one size fits all when it comes to crime.
May I submit an even more effective
Castrate?
an even more effective method of prevention for those
So what if
would be
so
repeat
if-
offenders?
what does castration do?
Castration is just the testicles, right?
Yeah.
But the penis as well. Chop it off. You have shown you don't deserve to have it. Chop it off.
Yeah, but now how different are we to the Middle Eastern and the barbaric
That's
Talibans?
Those who will have their penises chopped off become
I agree with you.
cautionary tale for those who are thinking of.
But then again, Kalenga, you just don't rape with your penis, bruh. They will find other ways to defile. I'm being serious, guys.
No. Yeah, that's true. But even people who commit murder and others have been sentenced to death, well, in this country, we don't quite do it. But in countries where they've been killed, murder still goes on. But the number of people who actually think of committing murder, knowing where they might end up, I think numbers go down.
I don't think so. I think they will hide it better. Again,
No, but
if
you
you
still
look at,
think,
if
you
you
still
look at,
think twice.
no, 100%.
You
I get
will
it.
still.
I
We
totally
will
agree
have
with you.
lesser numbers and people thinking twice about committing defilement.
I absolutely.
When
You
there
know
is
that
that.
the punishment is severe.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. If you look at countries like the Arabs, where adultery ends in death, you're stoned to death. Does adultery stop?
It reduces.
Does it stop though?
It reduces.
I hear you.
It starts with reduction. Then eventually, look at countries where, I don't know if it's still in effect, Sharia law and chopping off arms. There's no theft in those countries.
look,
Or it's
Kalenga.
bare minimum.
Kalenga. Here's the thing. I know right now you're speaking to the gallery. That's what you're doing. You're playing to the gallery.
No, Defilement just pisses me off.
No, I hear you. It pisses
Yeah.
everybody off. But what we need to do is to be practical. Because are we in our lifetime going to see Parliament pass that bill to chop penises off in Zambia? If the answer is no, then let's speak about practical terms that we think can be passed. We can have wishes, yes, but can we be practical about what we think can pass and
And
what
you
can
really
be
feel
passed?
therapy is practical?
Yes, I think so.
I don't think so.
Why don't you think so? Yes, it's psychological, and so is rape.
So, but some people can choose to mute that off because it's therapy. Like,
I hear you. But then again, if you get to those people, to the root of why they do it.
psychopath therapy doesn't work on psychopath.
Psycho, and look, I don't know. What's your suggestion?
Just chop it off.
Just it will act as a deterrent for those would-be offenders, isn't it?
Yeah, but then again, I've just asked a question: do we actually really see in our lifetimes Parliament passing such a bill?
Mob justice can do that, man.
But then you go to prison for that, man.
Mob justice.
Yeah, you go to prison for that.
Mob justice.
You say what?
Mob
Mob-
justice.
Yes, whoever is in the mob who does that goes to prison. Bruh, let me tell you, if you gang up to beat up a thief, Gob, and the thief says, Gob beat me up for stealing, you are mine, bruh. You go to jail for that.
You're going, man. The law is the law.
The law is the law. Don't take the law into your own hands. Call the popo.
the law.
So again, guys, can we come up with practical ways? Really? If we have people that have got enough power to pass a law, if chopping off a penis is something that the government will pass, which I don't think they would, then yeah, I'm for it.
And you really
minors-
feel this government can actually recommend therapy?
But why would they not? Because right now, there are therapists that are going to prisons. Did you
There
know
what?
this? Yes, they are.
Yeah, what?
Therapists who are going to prisons.
No, that's a given across the road just from here. This is what this
Yes.
prison is for.
Yeah, so intense.
You know, this prison across the road is actually for psychos.
Oh, no, a word?
Across the road right now,
Is that
there's
China,
psychos.
man?
Yeah.
That's China.
Yeah, right across the road from where we're seated right now.
Say word.
Yep.
So
Are we safe, boss?
wait, hold on. Let me do this. Let me see if I can call either Naeem or Betty, and I hope they pick up, just to try and get an understanding. She's a psychotherapist.
The
'Cause you-
psychopath.
Therapist.
Okay. Therapy can't work. You also disagree.
You think therapy cannot work?
Please pass him the.
Coin hates that. Coin hates that. But anyway, go ahead, Coin.
For any kind of therapy, someone needs to be in a position where they agree that I need help. Okay, so there's just certain people who, if you're a thief, kleptomaniac, you're just used to stealing, and you don't see that you need help. Therapy can't work.
So how do you help someone like that?
Just what Kepler said.
And if that's not on the table, then what?
Trying is not failing. We better try it first.
No defilers, man. They've got a special place in hell. Talking points.
Hold on. I need to get I've got an ex-girlfriend,
Of course. You do.
Simone. She's a therapist as well.
Simone Biles.
No. In fact, Simone is hired by different governments to speak to prisoners.
Simone Biles.
No.
Oh.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I did not give you notice. I apologize. So you're actually on my podcast right now. I never mentioned your name. Oh, did I? Whatever. I want to ask you just one or two questions, and I need your professional opinion. Can you do that?
Okay.
Okay. So there's been a lot of cases in Zambia of defilement of men that are raping toddlers and children and all kinds of horrible, nasty things. So that's what we're basically speaking about. So my question is twofold. Question number one is, why do these men that rape children and toddlers do that? And number two, what could be a solution to either stop it or drastically reduce it, in your opinion?
Okay, firstly, the reason they say they do this, from few that I've interviewed, the president, basically they are attracted to the children. They say,
Am I on speak or something?
you are, right?
Okay, because you're not audible. Maybe you might want to take me off speaker because you're not audible.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I was saying that the perpetrators of these atrocities say that they are attracted to young children. They're attracted to whether it's boys or girls, but they find prepubescent children attractive sexually.
Even
And
2-year-olds?
I was saying this is the information I get from the people that I have interviewed in terms of prison, obviously.
Okay.
Yes, because I don't think I would have interviewed anyone outside of prison. No. And then your other question was, what would be the solution?
Yeah.
I mean, the solution from my perspective is it depends on, are you dealing with somebody who's already perpetrated a crime or somebody who's thinking about it? If somebody is thinking about a crime, I think it's worthwhile approaching them like a human, like an individual, and tackling the moral aspect of their sexual desires. The fact that a child cannot consent, the fact that if an adult has sex with a child, they physically harm them. They mentally harm them. I think if somebody has not committed a crime, you want to leave the room open to actually have the conversation. Because a lot of what happens with people is that the more you think about something that you can't do, whether legally or it's stressing you out morally, the more you obsess about it and the more likely that you will action it. But if society doesn't allow you, whether it's within a therapist's private space, to talk about these things, I think it isolates you and worsens the situation. So I think it's leaving room for that for somebody who has not committed a crime. I think once somebody has committed a crime, the legal course is quite clear.
But do you think the legal process is sufficient to address these situations?
The legal process tends to, because the minute you have, raped or abused, either which way, a child, it should be classified in such a manner that the person does have access to therapy. Yes, it should.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. That do you think therapy when they're in prison is
Yes.
All right.
Because the thing at the end of the day is, no matter how people feel about it, every crime has a limit, and most countries even have a form of, what would you call it, when you come out of prison early. So the chances are, even if this person goes to jail, they will have to come out of prison. And if they've been pariahed even more or not being given help, they are more likely then to repeat offend. In the same way that after that, it's good to also have a sex offenders list. I don't know if that is present in Zambia or in a lot of African countries, but there needs to be a sex offenders list, because the fact is this person has a problem and they should not be put in what is a tempting situation.
Right. So Kalenga was asking me that, do you think the Zambian government would actually channel money towards therapy without mentioning much? I know the government pays you to speak to prisoners. How was that? Did you come up with a proposal? Did they approach you? How did that come to be?
I mean, when I'm in prison, I did once propose that we need to have to discuss sex in
Right.
terms of how to access sex, because sometimes offenders are not built from attraction to younger children. Offenders, some of them are built because children are vulnerable. They are unable to negotiate for sex, be it from age-appropriate females, age-appropriate males, or even from people who are commercial sex workers. And this
Exactly what I
inability
said.
to negotiate for sex leads them to take sex by force from a vulnerable group, which would be children. So I think we should be more open to discussing sex, to be discussing alternative forms of sex like masturbation, alternative forms of sex like commercial, sex workers.
Right. All right. No, that's cool. Thank you. I'll call you right after this. Thank you for the taking the call.
All right, bye-bye.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Very heavy topic,
It's a very.
but it's one that we need to have.
We definitely need to, and we need to have like a panel of somebody from the legal fraternity,
Yep.
psychologist,
Yep.
somebody from the prisons, because you need to understand the full sequence of what goes on in a perpetrator's mind from their upbringing to what happens in the legal system.
Kalinga, not only that.
There's so much going on.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm interested in? If said person has been jailed for rape before, let me just say rape, defilement. What steps does the correctional services take after he's been released to monitor him?
Hold on, Elson. Before you finish that question, it's
already
called the
finished it.
correctional facility. What steps are they taking to correct that person in the prison?
Precisely.
And also when they come out.
Precisely. Because in America, they've got the sex offenders list.
Yeah,
Well,
and
you're not-
registered sex offenders.
Right.
You have to declare when you move to a new town, declare yourself a sex offender
Right.
and things like that. Yeah.
You're not allowed within a certain distance of a school. You're not allowed to be seen with kids,
When you
etc.
start dating, you have to let your partner know.
Precisely. So we would also want to know the steps. I don't know if it's just the correctional services department or if it's the actual ministry that Home Affairs.
Yeah, in charge of prisons. Yeah, prisons,
Yes.
police.
And if there's a budget really to even, I know this sounds very ambitious, but if there is, just like in America, there's like a parole officer who, whenever you are released for the first year or so,
they monitor you.
they monitor you.
You've got an ankle bracelet.
So, yes, it
UTC.
sounds very ambitious, but it is one thing that I honestly feel with a couple of millions and resources put into that department, it's something worth looking into. Severe punishments, yes, but what happens when the person is out? Unless they're given life. If they're not given life, and yeah, you might chop off their dicks, but then again, like I said,
What's the punishment for defilement again according to the laws? What do they usually get?
It was 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Between 5 and 15, yeah.
You lie.
No,
Are you
like
serious?
This is why the vice president was saying we need to increase this.
Make it live.
Wait, is Haimbe still the Minister of Justice?
No, there's what's her name? Princess.
I don't care. I'm still calling Haimbe.
What's the name? I actually have a number. Hold on.
I say Haimbe like he's a friend of mine.
There is no response.
Okay, his phone is off. Honorable. I apologize. Which one is my camera, Gob?
This one.
I apologize.
Should I try the Minister of Justice?
Yeah, cool. Let me put on my
I hope
glasses.
it's not Haimbe whose number I have.
What's the last 3 digits? No, 'cause
148.
No, it's not.
And here's to hoping she remembers me. Yeah, you can start on the next talking point, if any.
All right. Moving
She's probably in a busy office or...
All right.
Actually, when I call her, I'll ask her to come on the podcast. Because the last time I met her, she wanted to come on the podcast.
I hope she's not boring.
Nah, very interesting lady. What's her name? Princess what? I think she's like the daughter to a chief or something like that.
Okay.
In Shivombo.
So apparently there's been a surveillance of sugar daddies at Unza. Did you guys hear about this?
I laughed when I saw that.
There's a guy in a Hilux
Ah, fam.
Whose picture was going around for picking up a chick?
Who was proposing that they put cameras all over to prevent sugar daddies from going around?
I think they should. And this
Wait.
cameras, this camera
Wait,
should be
somebody
public.
very high up in government made that suggestion. Let me.
I think they should.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying?
Actually, not just UNZA, all these universities. Because
It
let me
was a
tell you,
front page article. I remember
guys,
that much.
let me tell you, I think when you're a sugar daddy effing college girls, I feel like you're one step away from being a pedophile. I promise you. You are one level away from being a... Because, guys, wait, let's be honest. Oh, Kalenga, put your phone down for a second.
No, I'm looking for the article.
No, wait, hold on.
Yeah, go on.
In terms of... God, pick up your microphone. In terms of appearance,
When you
what is the difference between
an 18 and
an
19-year-old?
18 and a 19-year-old in terms of appearance? Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, actually, let's say 17 and 18. Because 17 is illegal, right?
Yes.
No,
16.
16
Yes.
and 15.
So even 2 years.
16 and 17. 16 and 18, yeah.
16 and 18 in terms of appearance, that's nothing.
Nothing.
So if you can have sex with an 18-year-old, you would have sex with a 16-year-old if it was legal. Easy. And listen, you are in your 30s and 40s. Tell me, what do you have in common that you would talk to this girl about?
This 18-year-old girl.
If I am to leave you with an 18-year-old girl in a car, tell me the things.
Probably start singing, bro.
You will most likely sing Michael Jackson. She'll be like, who's that?
Exactly.
Luther Vandross. What?
Bob Marley, who is that one?
And then when she plays another piano song, you don't know it. And she
No, you don't.
Your age is
and,
showing.
and now you're zoning out.
Your age is start showing, yeah.
So I honestly really want to listen. This is just me being curious. I just want to hear the conversation that these two people speak about. Because what stimulates me really is a lady's mind and how smart she is. Of course, yeah, granted, there's smart 18-year-olds, but there's a massive gap there. And there's a disconnect.
Well, she can be smart, but what exposure has she had in her life to be able to
Precisely.
sit at the same table with you and converse about the same things that you're interested in?
Precisely. So I honestly feel those sugar daddies are one level away from being a parent.
Yeah, but would cameras really solve that problem? I liked what Kachepa wrote on
Who Kachepa is?
Kachepa Mtumbi. Oh, this guy writes really intelligent posts, man. I hope he posted that on his Twitter. Calling it X was such a bad idea. You can't call it. I'm Xing. What's a verb for Twitter now for X?
I don't know.
What?
What's a verb for X?
Xing.
Yeah, Xing. Yeah, Elon Musk.
So when you post a video on X, does it become an
X
X
video?
video? Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I should have done that for you actually. Where is it? Is it? Kachepam Tumbi. Anyway, I'll find it later. But God, would cameras really sort this problem out?
Not really, because okay, so you found the sugar. You've been seen picking up these kids. What offense is really attached to that? There's no really offense.
Guys, I know I saw this article on some front page of a newspaper. I'm trying to... And I lose internet just when I need it the most.
Ish.
What? It's closed. It's closed.
What?
Whatever you opened is closed.
Yeah, no, I'm just being reminded that I've not paid property maintenance.
And that's funny.
No, because it's written in Chinese.
Oh, now that's funny. Because the whole world speaks Chinese, right?
Ah, 1D.
Anywho.
I'm leaving Kingsland.
Anywho. Anything else that's caught your attention on the socials this week?
Yeah, quite a number.
Sorry?
Did you see this post where the grade 9 pupil impregnated a teacher?
What you say?
Yeah.
Aha. Now that for me begs the question, are we going to consider that defilement as well?
But it's in a district.
No, who's defiling? The teacher.
Yes. She's older than him.
But how sure are you? It's a grade 9 pew.
No, could be an old grade 9 pupil.
Exactly.
What age is he?
They didn't disclose in the article.
Then it's just
And then again, when
but
last-
then it's not defilement, because defilement in my thinking
Is breaking a virginity?
no is a certain, because now there's a difference between statutory rape and defilement.
Yeah. No, but thank you. But how many cases do you hear of a woman being arrested for raping, in inverted commas,
Because those cases seldom are reported.
because the boy enjoyed himself?
Precisely.
How are we even supposed to be laughing at this coin? Legally speaking. And he walks away.
Yeah, because I don't think that's defilement. I think that's just statutory rape.
No, even the statement said impregnated. They didn't say defilement. Because according from this article, they were in a relationship.
You see how life isn't fair for the boys.
Yeah.
He could be a genuine 15-year-old grade 9 pupil who,
Was taken advantage of
by a teacher, and
an
who ends up.
older person
Exactly.
who knows better, who raped.
But the issue becomes a laughing matter because it's a woman who's the perpetrator in this case. Had the same scenario been, but like you said,
Yes,
statutory rape.
has, but not only that, there's never really been an active and loud voice on the boy child. We're not taking anything away from the girl child.
yeah.
So for you to amplify the voice of the boy child doesn't mean you have to take away from the other side. You can speak out equally on the two.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to basically how you raise a boy and how you raise a girl, it's totally different.
Totally.
You raise a boy to be tough, don't cry, don't whatever it is. I feel we really need to revisit all this.
Go. There's no more
Wait, so
info. That story.
was she married?
No, like, that's good. Just like realizing.
And was that boy's teacher or just a teacher in the school?
It says grade 9 pupil from Chitambo district.
Wait. Sorry. It says?
A grade 9 pupil from Chitambo district impregnated his class teacher.
I'll tell you, that boy in the school is a hero right now.
Too much. There's a G.
And you see why those cases never go anywhere? The pride that boy is feeling right now.
This guy smashed the teacher, bro.
It's like coming to America, eh?
What happened again? Remind me.
What's that guy's name with Stifler's mom?
Oh, it's not coming. Is that coming to America?
Oh, American Pie. Sorry.
American Pie.
American
yes.
Pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Stifler's mom, you need to watch. Have you watched The White Lotus?
No.
Oh my God, you need to watch The White Lotus. You will thank me for this.
What's on Netflix?
No, it's not. It is on Amazon Prime.
I'll
But
check
it's worth getting though.
I'll check it out. I've got Amazon Prime.
Yeah, check it out.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one you should check out, just mostly because of how they shot it. Have you guys seen Adolescence?
No.
The 13-year-old boy who gets accused of murder.
No.
Ooh.
Is it good?
Nothing wow about it. For me, what caught my attention was how they shot it. For me, that's what they're really pushing about it's got 4 episodes. Each one of them is like an hour long.
Yeah, like Black Mirror.
Like Black Mirror.
Yeah.
It's an hour long. But the interesting thing about it is they use one camera. Yeah. So the way they shoot it, God, maybe you can learn something from these British people. It starts with cops driving down the street and the camera is like, it's like following them, like almost like a drone kind of angle. Then they get to this house at 6 sharp in the morning. They break the door down. They get into this house and they find his family getting ready for school and work and
So
whatever.
this is the point of view of the cops?
Yes.
Or or it's not?
You start with the point of view of the cops.
Okay.
So they break into the house. They get into the house. They push the father aside, the mother aside. They go into the boy's bedroom. They pick him up. And they use excessive force, like in the case of Elias. There's big guns and everything. You know what I mean? And the mom is screaming, yeah, pick up the little boy.
Elias was a pistol, but okay.
Yeah, well, there's big guns in this case. So they pick him up, take him into a van, and you can imagine it's like a POV throughout. They carry him to the police station. But the marvelous thing about the whole thing is every episode, 1 hour long, was one take.
You lie.
So they couldn't make mistakes.
What's it called?
Adolescence.
Where is it?
On Netflix, yeah.
I'll check it out. WhatsApp it to me.
So I was watching the making, and they're like, we rehearsed for so many months to shoot this in one take. Yeah. So even in the police station, like they put the boy in, what do you call those rooms, Gob, again? In confinement? Interrogation room. The lawyer comes in. When the lawyer walks out, they follow the lawyer. The lawyer probably go to like a coffee machine. There's another conversation being had there by the cops. The lawyer walk away. The cops remain talking. And then one of the cops goes back to the interrogation room. So it's one camera following the whole conversation. All the conversations in there.
That's
One camera.
Crazy.
Yeah. So they were saying the most difficult to make was episode 3 because they shot it in a school. Now, try coordinating 1,500 kids to act
Using
out
one camera.
one scene, one camera.
That's crazy.
It's quite interesting. The
I need
dynamics
to
of
check
it
it
all.
out. I need to check it out.
Yeah.
That reminds me of have you watched Paranormal Activity? Ooh. I'm gonna tell you.
Please do.
Based off a true story. This guy had a girlfriend who was convinced that ever since she was little, she had paranormal stuff that happened around her. So from the house that she lived in burning down and whatever house she moved to, just paranormal shit would happen. Plates would fall out of the cabinet, pictures would fall off the wall, etc. And the boyfriend did not believe in ghosts. So he kept saying, it's probably somebody stalking you because there's no such thing as ghosts. So what the boyfriend does is he buys a camera and he invites the girl to say, come and live with me for 2 months. So they buy a camera, and a handheld camera. The entire movie was shot from that camera. So the opening scene is he opens the door and she's driving into the driveway. He gets the bags, put the bags in the bedroom. And as she's cooking, he's moving around the house, filming stuff. And as they go to sleep, they put the camera on a tripod and the camera faces their bed and then they go to sleep. The following morning, he picks up the camera and rewinds the footage to see if there was anything. So the period where they're sleeping, they don't cut anything out. That's the beauty. They just they fast forward. So if you're sleeping for 8 hours,
The quick motion.
right?
Yeah.
So the 8 hours is
Like a
basically
time lapse kind of thing, yeah.
It's basically like in just 30 seconds. So they do this, and they say night 1, night 2, week 1, week 2, etc. And nothing is happening. And so then the guy's getting bored. He said, I bought this camera for nothing, and then you came here, and I thought there'll be some action, and there's nothing. So the guy then calls this dude who brings a Ouija board. And the guy brings a Ouija board, and when the girl sees the Ouija board, she's pissed off and is like, now you're just provoking it. You know what a Ouija board is, right?
Yeah.
Right. So he begins to talk to this entity through the Ouija board. Oh, you're a bitch. If you're here, I'll dare you to do 1, 2, 3. Nothing happens. A couple of nights after that, as there are cameras on the tripod and they're sleeping, the first paranormal sign occurs when the bedroom door opens. And then it shuts. And that was it. That was like literally within the first 4 weeks. That was the only thing. The bedroom door opens and shuts. It progressively gets worse and worse. And this thing was not scared to be known anymore. It became more and more aggressive. I don't know if I should just tell you the whole thing. Basically,
Yeah, spoil it.
okay. Basically, it then gets to a point where one of the things that was scary is, I think in the second month, you see on one particular night, the girlfriend wakes up and stands over the boyfriend for 8 straight hours. She's just standing, looking at him. 10 minutes before the guy wakes up, she gets back into bed and she sleeps. The guy wakes up, he reviews the camera and it shows that she was standing for 8 hours just looking at him. The night after that, you could literally see as the guy was outside. So the guy gets up and he goes outside. You could see, can you picture, Gob, somebody's leg being dragged out of bed? You can tell the motion, right? That they're holding onto the pillows, but they're being dragged out of bed. Until she fell to the floor and she began screaming and the guy ran into the room. But it became more and more violent. And the final night, this is what happens on the final night. She wakes up again and she stands over him. This time for about 6 hours because you could see the time lapse.
Yeah.
For 6 hours. Then she goes downstairs. And when she's downstairs, she begins to scream. The boyfriend wakes up. Remember, the camera is on a tripod. So the boyfriend wakes up and he runs downstairs. So we can't see anything. We can only hear stuff.
Right.
When he gets downstairs, he begins to scream. And then his screams stop. Then we see footsteps and she's now walking back into the bedroom. She's all bloodied and she's holding a knife. And we never see the guy come back up again. She sits on the edge of the bed. The sun comes up and she's just rocking back and forth like she's in a trance. That entire day ends. And the night comes and the night ends. And it's now like the second day. Phones are ringing and you could hear knocks. And eventually someone then opens the door and says, "Hey, Katie, I've been trying to call you. Are you in here?" And you can hear someone downstairs calling Katie. And we assume they see the boyfriend because they begin to scream. And they run out of the house. And 20 minutes later, you hear the police. Then you hear the police go room by room.
Let me guess, this girl can't remember anything.
It gets interesting. You hear the police go room by room up until they get to the bedroom. They get to the bedroom and so they've got their flashlights on and they see the girl.
With knife in hand.
With knife in hand. Still, she was sitting in the same position for 2 days, just rocking back and forth. When the flashlight hits her eyes, she snaps out of whatever that she's in. Remember, she's got a knife in hand and she's bloodied. She gets up and now she's disoriented because now she's looking for a boyfriend. But the police are seeing her come at them with a knife and they're saying, "Put the knife down." And she's confused.
As far as she's concerned, she was sleeping.
What do you think the police did?
Shot her.
And they died. So when the movie begins, it was shot by
This reminds me of, remember the nights of the movie similar to that?
what's the guy who did the Titanic? James Cameron.
James Cameron.
They actually write that this is in the memory of Katie and the boyfriend, and they put their faces because when that then happened, they went and they bought that footage and they made it into a movie.
Reminds me
So you
of...
need to watch that movie. So it's actually from the real footage.
Remember the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that movie was scary, bro. Similar things. They'll leave the cameras on and just find things moving when they start watching the footage.
You know one thing that I was thinking about when you were speaking about that movie being shot. Have you noticed how, and this is something we should have asked Kazadi, have you noticed how if they are tight on a budget and they want to shoot a scene that is based in Mexico, they basically look for an area that could fit
desert.
Mexico,
Yeah.
and then they put like a yellowish hue.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
I mean, even Narcos has that hue the whole time.
Yes. So there's a particular
filter.
color grading. We've got corn here. Just repeat what I said.
Is that what Mexico looks like?
Like
you'll find. I think even in I was watching.
get the camera, get the mic.
I was watching the most recent Terminator.
Yeah.
The last one, not Arnold Schwarzenegger, was the one from 2019. I can't remember.
Schwa.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger. I can't remember the subtitle, but it's Terminator something.
Yeah.
The scenes in Mexico look almost yellowish in
Yes.
almost every movie.
They
Why
put like
is
a
that?
hue, like a yellowish hue on it, like a filter.
If not yellow, then a lot of brown.
Yeah.
Like a brown filter kind of thing.
It's just the cinematic theme of the geographical place that you are. You're gonna if you go to music, if you see a music video shot in Jamaica, whether it's Jay-Z, it's DJ Khaled, or it's a Jamaican artist, it's got this Mozambican feel. This
So if you decide,
they don't grade it. I don't know if you've noticed. Almost looks white and natural.
coin.
Yeah.
If you decide that you're shooting a movie with Kalenganai in it, but we don't have the money to fly to Mexico, and we decide to shoot this in a part of Lusaka, you would have that grading that you would put onto that scene to make it look like Mexico.
No, absolutely.
So now here's my question.
Yeah, what's your question?
What is the Zambian you? If someone is shooting a movie in Botswana,
It's a soundtrack that will let you know it's Zambian.
No, it's not the soundtrack.
what filter did they put for Zambia?
The sun will be hitting your face.
The sun.
They're bright to be like you're watching news from a certain station.
I kind of look at it like it would be like a little showery. You know, like when the VHS was like dirty.
Yeah, well, you're right.
But I think all of us have a certain color we associate to places we've been. Like I know when you think South Africa, you think a certain brightness.
Yes. Yeah.
Every time I think South Africa, I think a certain brightness. When I think about Congo, I think darkness.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's just something about Congo that scares me. I think darkness. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people do.
And you think brightness when it comes to South Africa?
No.
Yeah.
So basically,
It's my imagination anyway.
all that is, the geographical locations that you're shooting in, the sun and the lighting hits different. The reason you think like that about the Congo is because of the Ituri. It's dark.
I guess so.
It's forestry.
And I don't know why when I think Zimbabwe, I think a lot of green.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you think of Amazon, you're gonna have that kind of feel. If you think of places like Mexico that you're talking about, lots of places have been blown up.
It's like when you think London, England,
It's
cloudy.
gloomy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. you
Yeah.
know? When you think of Jamaica, Mozambique, the sun's out. When you think of Zambia, Zambia.
But the kind of sun that hits you when you're in Jamaica is different to the kind of sun that hits you when you're in Zambia, though.
Yeah, because
that's his point.
what I'm saying.
That's his point.
The lighting is different in different locations.
Yeah.
The same camera, you can take a photo with the window open in Cape Town, take a photo with the window open in Zambia.
Yeah.
You'll be like, this wasn't in Zambia.
Yep, that's true.
With the same camera,
That is true.
the lighting hits different.
Cape Town is a different.
Guys, Cape Town is not Africa. Don't even talk about Cape Town like Cape Town is Europe. Doesn't even snow in Cape Town nowadays.
Well, it depends where in Cape Town.
Not Skylich.
Because remember the Skylich and the Cape Flats.
Exactly.
Now that's South Africa.
And apparently it's in the same neighborhood, same area, sort of, but it's just different, right?
Yeah.
Dude, Cape Town is, when you just get to the airport, there's a fence that's demarcating the ghetto from the airport. Literally. I don't know if you've seen that.
And I have.
Right at the airport.
I remember.
You get to
I
know
remember
that,
the first
okay, I
time.
am Kumayadi or I am the ghetto.
I mean,
Or the
Europe.
rival.
This is Africa, this is Europe.
But you know what? But you know what's crazy, and it's crazy how we just digress. You know what's crazy is you also need to be very cognizant of when you are taking an Uber because you easily can be killed. Where or how you take your Uber matters.
In
when-
Cape Town itself?
In South Africa in general.
The whole, okay.
Yes. But Cape Town, because I remember there's certain zones where taxi drivers would shoot Uber drivers.
Oh, yeah.
So there's certain areas where Ubers would not come. And if you have one Uber driver who's dumb enough to pick you up and the taxi driver sees you get into an Uber, that'll be your last ride.
I've used the same Uber guy. Remember the guy, I think the event time we were there's a guy I was communicating with. His name is, of all names, guys, Relax. Real name.
He's from Zambia?
No.
Of course not. What kind of question is that? It's most likely Zimbabwean.
The name Relax.
Relax. Real name.
Have you been to Eastern Province?
Let me ask what his surname is.
Good point. Good point.
His name is Relax.
I've seen a guy called Anyway Sorry.
So I need to blow the horns on that one. No, real name.
Real name.
Relax.
No, Eastern Province has got classics. I mean, every time, during school, I would always, this guy comes in, what's your name? My name is Few Days. I just like,
Few
Yeah,
days.
a few days.
No, it's very common name. Check your Facebook.
I had a guy in the
Check
same
your
road I
Facebook,
grew up
it's
in
very
called
common
Few
Few
Days.
days.
Yeah,
Literally,
few days.
Wait, is that 2 words?
No, one
One
name,
word.
Few Days.
Just go on your search bar on Facebook, type in Few Days.
You're lying.
Well, at least he knew me as Golden during high school. So if he knew I'm the one who's saying this now.
Few days.
No, that one I've heard.
Yeah.
In our road in Kitwe, there was a guy called Few
There's
Days.
a guy who is. Wait. Hold on.
Give him a shout out.
Few days. Mchapo.
Few Days Champo. Few Days. No,
Jesus.
No, but
why would you
sorry.
name your child that?
sorry is just the one, man. Like,
Yeah, there was a guy called Anyway Sorry. Wait, let me see if I can find it. I'm
I
alive.
mean, Kalenga, that's pretty much, you just put in Mavuto in English.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. I
put
heard
in
like
myself also
Mavuto
in
means like
English.
troubles or something.
Problems. Yeah.
Problems,
Why,
poverty.
why would you name your child that? Like, oh, really?
No, it's not the African thing of, you're going to be named after your grandpa or your pal.
I remember what Trevor Noah was saying about Zambian names. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look for because I think I took a photo because that guy was a waiter. Anyway, sorry. I think I took a photo of his name tag. Do you think he would mind if we put up his photo, Gob? Because it's his name. I can't find it. You say what? Oh, did you say they love to sue? Yeah. Okay, Kendrick. I can't find it. Wait, what else? I feel like there's a lot that happened this previous week that we didn't touch on.
I'm even tired now.
How long have we been running?
An hour and a half. More actually. 1 hour 40 something.
Yeah. Well,
Let's wrap we failed to go live yesterday because of our ISPs and being inefficient, or maybe we just buy the wrong bundles. Gob, are we buying the wrong bundles?
We're buying wrong bundles to the wrong suppliers.
Wrong bundles from wrong suppliers.
Hey, listen, big shout out to brothers. Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
Continue buying those delicious
Pina
mocktails.
coladas, the mojitos,
Mojito.
the strawberry and lime crisp, and the Cosmo.
Yeah.
And now you can even get Fit by Vatra.
Yes, we can.
Story for another day, though.
Yes, we can. Do you know how much it is?
Fit by Vatra?
No. Brothers, mocktail.
I've never bought it.
Me neither.
I don't even know the price.
I was about to buy it for the first
serious?
time. You said, what did you say?
I can.
Yeah, the can is 15 kwacha from what's this? What do you call this? Tuntemba. What do you call this?
But it's worth
that's
it.
dope. Oh, that's
It's
dope.
worth it.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
and
It
I
is
was
worth it.
about
It's
to
12 kwacha from ShopRite though.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was about to purchase it for the first time when I went to this food market.
I never even look at it because I mean,
So I reached for my wallet and be like, oh, it's Elson. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm like, I was just about to know how much it costs. But yeah, those drinks are freaking amazing.
yeah, they are.
My son loves the pina colada. Unless you tell him to stop, that boy will drink an entire 6-pack. You literally have to limit that.
One thing that is fun in my home, when it's in the pantry, nobody touches.
Wait, Eli
The
too.
moment I put it
It's
in the fridge, all of a sudden people want to drink.
Eli as well. Because mine are like right under the staircase. When
Mine
they're
in the
there,
pantry.
he doesn't open
Nobody
that.
touches. We can go 2 weeks. Nobody has drank them.
Put them in the fridge. But again, that's discipline. That means that they're ready to drink. Because remember what Sachin said? Drink when they're chilled. Doesn't it say that on
So
the
on
can?
Sunday I was busy screaming, oh, so now I put the drinks in the fridge.
Now you wanna
Everybody
drink
has the
them.
appetite to drink them. Before that, just
So why were you screaming? They know to drink them when they're chilled.
So what I did, I got a 6-pack from the pantry.
Yeah.
I opened it.
Yeah.
The amount of effort I put into opening the 6-pack, I put it in the fridge. Put all 6 in the fridge.
Now, Kalenga, listen to me.
I go take a nap. I come back and the fridge has no mocktails in it.
Where's my camera? Let me put on my glasses.
When I make
Don't
the
talk,
effort, I
don't
should
talk.
enjoy the fruits of my
Let
labor.
me talk. Kalenga. When you made the effort to moan and sweat on top of your wife to make those children.
How did you go there?
Wait. They did not ask to be here. That right there is your responsibility. Open all the 6-packs you can, put them in the fridge, and stop whining.
So basically, I should take everything that's mine. Because they did not apply to get here.
Now you get it.
To the next episode, have a lovely day. And remember to support the people that support us.
Please.
Brothers Mocktails, we mentioned the 4 exciting flavors. And
Should we speak about where we're going to be on Friday yet? Or we
Just-
just do it on Friday?
this is airing
On
today's
tomorrow.
Wednesday. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can.
So, yeah, because they say, so what, tomorrow's Wednesday, right?
Today is Wednesday.
Yes.
As this
So we have got new friends. You probably should put away your phone for this.
Go. Put that phone away.
So we've got new
We're
friends.
discussing another phone.
Yes, we've got new friends who are going to be blessing Kaleng and I with new phones.
No new phones, no new friends, no new friends. no new-
Techno Mobile. Yeah. They've got apparently a beautiful new phone with amazing AI. So the next episode that we're going to be here, we're
We'll
going to
probably
be
be
holding
shooting
that.
it from that phone.
Yeah, and all those pictures that Coin was telling you about, man.
We'll be looking like we're in Mexico every week.
Yeah, so big shout out to Techno. Welcome to the family. We'll be telling you a lot more about the newest gadget. And let's see if we are able to get a couple of those phones into your pockets because they're not that expensive. You can afford them.
I was told about 7,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
The latest one, yeah.
I mean, bruh. Those are like what?
Our viewers spend that much on bundles to watch the podcast. I mean,
So yeah, big shout out to Techno, newest addition to the family, and Mukuka. I haven't forgotten, bruh. I don't know why you're treating me like a stepchild now. Can we do this, please?
Even step.
All right, cool. We're rambling. Bye.